am Shannon, your host, and this podcast is about life, love, and everything in between. And we're going through a lot of everything in between right now, but the one thing that clears our heads is exercise. It frees your mind, it gets you in a great vibe, it de-stresses you. All right, we just got done taking the most amazing holiday dance party class with Eddie Calle, with Energy Fitness. If you participated, you got your sweat on. Me, Darlene, Angie, Angela, we dressed up like elves. We had a little bit of Santa going on. We had Mansplained by Matthew doing the second unit. We had Brianna come out. His daughter dances with Eddie. We had a great time putting together this fun holiday dance party with all of you guys, and it was such a pleasure to work out with all of you, to be part of this amazing energy that we're here. So if you weren't part of it or you didn't see it, I'll be showing clips throughout this entire interview, but this man is a rock star. And I have to tell you, through this whole pandemic craziness, I have found or discovered Mr. Eddie Calle, as in Calle Ocho, and he's been fabulous. And not only is he a great instructor and full of energy and so much fun, he has an incredible background story. I just got goosebumps. You're going to hear things today that are going to make you go, wow, there really is a God. There really is angels out there. And he's a success story in so many different ways. So I am not going to take up any more of his time. Eddie, all you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Eddie Calle, as you said, Calle Ocho. I am born and raised in Stamford, Connecticut. My family is from Colombia. My father was an Olympic runner, came here from Colombia in 1975, and trained us to be athletes. I grew up learning karate and mixed martial arts and all kinds of stuff, yes, as well as a swimmer. I was a big-time swimmer. Okay. And high school, varsity swimming, all that kind of stuff. But age 19, 20 years old, I experienced a bad car accident where I was drinking and driving, which I recommend no one to ever do. Bad move, learned the hard way, and long story short, I found where I needed to be from that accident. I had T-boned a telephone pole, DOA, dead on arrival, and thankfully I was saved by those wonderful doctors at the Stamford Hospital. But I learned a long lesson. I wanted to always become a kindergarten teacher. It was a dream to work with kids, but during that time in the 90s, there wasn't many kindergarten teachers. They were all female teachers. It was a female dominant. Yes, yes. And so it was very hard. I was actually the second male to graduate from my college with an early child education degree.
That's awesome.
But I found my way from that car accident. Two little guardian angels presented themselves to me. I T-boned a telephone pole, was in the hospital, and still close to the two police officers and the firefighters that were there. Really? And they were the ones telling me the story about what had happened. They just appeared in my life at the right time, and they gave me the sign. And that's, since then, I decided to get into the field and kept at it.
I just want to ask you, you said two little boys.
Two little boys.
What do you mean? Just two boys saw the accident and walked up?
Absolutely. So I T-boned a telephone pole, and it was a private street close to home. They always say that you crash a mile from the house. So I T-boned a telephone pole, knocked out the power. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's coming out. And apparently the firefighters I could wake up seeing like just flashing lights, and I remember those two firefighters saying this guy didn't make it. And I guess there was two little boys at the scene. This is what the firefighter and the police officer told me. There was two little boys at the scene along with other people and neighbors, since I knocked out a telephone pole. Yeah. But so on a DOA call, I believe the police officers escort the ambulance. So, the hospital was on the other side of town. Apparently the two little boys were already in the emergency room by the time that we got there. And yeah.
I'm kind of thinking,
so I'm a very, yes.
Like, it's standing up.
I'm a spiritual person. My mother, I was raised Catholic, so I went to a Catholic school, and my mom is very, very, I was an altar boy. I mean, I did it all.
My brother knows all about that.
Yeah, I was never, I was always a rebel, like, I believe in this and this and that. And so I remember my mom telling me, after I woke up 2 days later, telling me, well, there was two guardian angels. And I said, don't worry, Mom, I'll go to church on Monday. I said, don't worry. She brought in the police officers. The police officer is the one that told me the story and told me, there was 2 little boys in the emergency room when we got here. I don't know how they got here, but they grabbed my mom's hand when she walked in and said, Miss Calle, don't worry, your son's going to be okay. My mom went running in to, make sure I was okay. They revived me. They pumped the alcohol, thankfully, and all that stuff out of me. And then my mom asked the triage nurse, to see if where the 2 little boys were. She wanted to thank them or say, thank you, because I was very interactive with the kids in the neighborhood. And when the officer said, oh, they're in the waiting room, went over to reach to say, hey, boys, they were walking out the door, walked out the 2 sliding doors, never saw again. Until this day, the police officer, the nurse, and the triage, and the firefighters still keep in touch with my mom every now and then to call her, because
that's a moment.
Not to mention that the officer was Jewish when he told me that story.
So they know they saw guardian angels.
Yeah, so I believed in it, and I thought, I was going through a really hard time in my life at that time. I didn't know if I should become a school teacher and follow this career, or is it something I was going to get knocked down from, because prior to that, I became a gym teacher in a preschool and lost my job. A week later, I was fired because a mom said that she didn't feel comfortable with a big guy working with kids. And my teacher, my director at the school said, absolutely not. And, she pulled some strings. I ended up getting the job back.
Okay.
And I ended up going forward with childcare and becoming a preschool kindergarten teacher. And then my beautiful daughter came into my life.
Brianna.
My daughter came into my life at the age of 23, and I was going to UConn. I was swimmer. I was all this kinds of stuff, and I just had to take a different road. And me and her mother were together, never married, but she was a wonderful mom. And then we just became 2 different people, and I became a single father when she was about 3 years old, and I've been a single dad, raising her. Now she's 19 years old.
And quite a dancer.
She's my BFF. But so I followed through with my career and education, and I ended up I always have that mentality that whatever I do, I put my heart into it, all of it. And
if you ever watch his classes.
Yeah, and for anybody out there, always find your passion. It's something that you want to go to bed waking up wanting to work. And I couldn't wait to get into the classroom with the kids, or working with kids, or anything working with kids, doing music or something. I'm also a Red Cross instructor, and I did that 15 years ago.
And I'm a painter. I have like Picasso and
I have my guitar.
I'm a ventriloquist, and then I mime. What does it mean?
So when I was a director of a daycare center, I got tired of hiring people to come in and figure out people's schedules, because I had moms that were figuring out, juggling things, and hey, you got to get here on a Friday night, no matter what. So I decided to go and become a Red Cross instructor, an American Red Cross instructor, and I still am, present till this day. So I went gung-ho with the early child education field. I was displayed on Parents Magazine. Yeah, I was voted one of the most unique single fathers in the country, along with 5 other fathers, different kinds of fathers, like an IVF dad, a single father. And
I didn't know they had those.
Because I was a preschool teacher, but I was also
Did you get nominated? How did you get How did you get chosen for that?
Yep. So I was while I was becoming a teacher. Obviously, it's a tough field. There's not a lot of money. So I was working as a bartender.
Unfortunately, you teachers rock.
Yeah, I was doing security, bar backing, and bars, and doing all that kind of stuff. And one of the parents in my daycare center one night, I was dragging some guy out of the bar.
And he's a bouncer.
And he was a bouncer. I was dragging, and a black belt taekwondo, martial arts.
Get out.
And it was a really funny story. I was dragging some guy out of the bar. He was, disgruntled, drunk person. And as I'm dragging this guy out of the bar, a car full of people are coming down this main street in downtown Norwalk. And a mom is hanging out of the road like, that's my daycare director! That's my daycare! And her friends were looking at her like, what is going on?
Where do your kids go?
So the parent came in that following week and was like, I've never felt safer than I feel so safe here with my kids, because... So it was good. It was good. But she happened to be working for Parents Magazine, like a writer.
Okay.
And she said, what you do at night and what you do during the day, it was funny what she said. You're bouncing guys out at night, and then you're bouncing kids on your knee during the day.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, so it was really cool. And she asked me if I would be interested in, she nominated me for like a bunch of fathers, and I got picked. And my daughter and I went down to New York and got treated like, photo shoot.
That's so cool.
And I told them my story, the same story I'm telling you. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. I'm 43 years old. A degree in early child education from UConn, a 2-year degree from Norwalk Community. And it's just been a long, long journey. And now, so about 10 years ago, after the education field, I started taking a lot home. I started working with different classes, different classes of people, and I've worked in the high class, middle class, low income housing. And when I worked for low income housing, I started taking a lot of the work home.
You see a lot that you don't want to see.
Yeah, I wanted to just take kids home every day. I wanted to kidnap kids and leave and and give them good homes. I've seen some of the ugly parts of 3 and 4 and 5-year-olds with changing of the clothes, the same underwear all week, lunches being the leftovers from the day before, and
or no lunch.
Child abuse, no lunch,
I worked for the YMCA in high school, and you saw things, and then kids would say things that they would have no way of knowing that at that age. So you knew
bad,
something weird was going on at home. So yeah, it's tough.
It is tough.
It goes right here.
It really does, and mentally, it was draining me. And so I got very stressed out and I forgot to tell you, I was after,
I used to be Santa Claus.
I looked like Santa Claus. So I was a swimmer all my life, high school, as I mentioned. And then when my daughter came into my life at 23 years old, I was a little, kind of like, wait, all my friends are partying and, college, and here I am with a baby. And so I started having to work harder. And so I started working at night. During the day, that's when I picked up working in the bars and security, and I figured I'd use my skills in martial arts to something. And then I ended up gaining weight. So when you're leaving the bar at 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd grab a steak and cheese. I'd get home, I'd scarf that down.
You smell like beef and cheese.
Literally. And then would wake up at 6 a.m. and do it, go to the daycare. And before you know it, I've always had this long, lean body.
Yeah, you're tall. How tall are you?
6'3". Oh. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, where did all this fat come from? I was like, I could have been Santa Claus. I ended up going to 330 pounds. Yeah. Depressed, like a hair away from diabetes. They gave me blood pressure medicine. And that day I walked out, and after I went to the doctor and being overweight and for so long and not feeling well, they gave me all these pills, and I got home and I looked at all these pills and I was like, nope, no pills for me. The cure was in my foods and how I ate and exercise. And I started...
I'm a true believer in that.
Yep. I started dancing, I started working out, I started doing all this stuff. And my trainer from doing martial arts was like, hey, this Zumba thing is, really up and coming. It's a lot of cardio. And I was like, Zumba, what's Zumba? Zumba fitness. So I fell into Zumba. I went to a Zumba fitness class, and I was like, wait, you could dance and have fun and work out at the same time?
I can get paid to dance?
Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is so much. So I started taking this one instructor's class, Tanya Beardsley, for years and years and years. And then she was just like, you need to become an instructor. So I became an instructor, and my world just went like to the top with, Zumba fitness. Thankfully, I'm thankful for them, and being on QVC, I was on The View, infomercials. I did a whole bunch of stuff. Now
he's on Shannon Confidential, Top of the Line.
Yeah.
He made it. He has now made it.
That's when you know you made it, is when we're here. But so I started losing my weight, and that's when I got into group fitness. And then that's when I started teaching group fitness for now 10 years. Teaching all kinds of bar, booty work, booty burn, bar classes, kickboxing. And I started working for Equinox 9 years ago, wonderful company. And thankfully for them, when I moved here to Florida, they transferred me here, and I landed here with a job. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And that's, yeah.
So you're here at Equinox. Were you teaching in the gyms? Did you have a studio? Were you doing the traditional, everybody comes to you?
Yeah, so when I started back in Connecticut, it's funny because the way I started my first class was all of my moms from my daycare center. So I was like, hey, I'm doing a class, and what better people to pitch it to than moms? So I was like, hey guys, I'm doing a free class downstairs in the gym where I was running the community center. And I said, you guys come, I'm teaching like dance fitness. I think you guys will like it. And I had about 6 moms. They all came. They were like, this is awesome. Yeah. And I said, all right, well, let's do it again. Free class next week again. The following week, they brought friends. So there was like 15 people. Snowball effect, 6 years later, I was charging, making money. I had 65 people in a studio. I had to rent places. I was renting warehouses and throwing master classes with 300 people, 400 people. So it was a blessing. And then I was like, this is what I need to do. So I left the daycare field and I put all my eggs into the fitness basket. And then I started renting studios. I'm an independent contractor. Okay. And I created, everybody always told me, Eddie, you have so much energy. And so I believe, and I believe in energy. And just like when I met you and your crew, it was just a connection of energy, positivity, and I love that. And so I was like, energy. Oh, well, I'll start my own business, and I created Energy Fitness.
That's it.
And I took off the Y behind the energy, and I put a dash, and I put an E for Eddie. And so I created Energy Dance and Fitness, which I've had for about 8 years now. Okay. And it's been awesome. It's been great. And, I still work with kids. I still teach fitness classes for kids when I can. And so my studio back home, I left and came here. And it was, it's been a tough world. Coming from Connecticut and knowing so many people and having such a great community of
you have that
students,
solid, base.
I mean, honestly, yes.
You know,
I really couldn't have been. I mean, for the past 10 years, I couldn't have gotten through certain parts of my life without my clients and those members.
You need that support.
From, we all go through everything in life, and I always try to find a way to distract myself. When I was doing martial arts, it was punching a bag or doing those things. And as we get older, I can't be punching anything anymore.
You're gonna get.
So I shake my booty and I like to dance. And I was like, you know what? I felt that energy. And when people would come into my classes, I had a woman come into my class who, it was a struggle for her to come into my class. Her friend, she introduced me. She said, this is so-and-so. I've been trying to get her to come to your class. And when she told me her story, she had just lost a 16-year-old son, was in a dark place. She told me herself was in a very dark place. Her husband came in to meet me, same thing. But she took my class and this kind of energy lit up in her. For those 60 minutes, we forget everything.
You forget about
we have some
your
fun.
Stuff. Your stuff gets left at the door.
Yes, and as you know, I mean, I call myself an endorphin dealer. So if you need endorphins, it's legal. I like to create endorphins, and we all have those endorphins. Yeah. And obviously, when when I studied the nutrition aspect of it and physiology and learning about the body, so that I can teach other people about their bodies. When you're stressed out, you get a chemical called cortisol that gets released. And that chemical,
right here.
And if you're now naturally, our body creates that chemical cortisol. Mm-hmm. So when you're working out, that chemical creates itself because it thinks, oh, you're working out, let me give it some energy,
your
turns
body
into sugars.
Amazing.
Yes, so on and so forth, it goes in. But when we have too much stress, it creates, like you said, the fat and all that kind of stuff.
It just sits and builds.
But it also kills. It also ruins your emotional, your mental. It can attack your organs, and stress is a true killer. Yeah. And so when I found the group fitness and teaching exercise or Zumba and all these other forms of fitness, I released my own endorphins, and I found okay, life is hard, but I can do this. And every day that I taught a class, I would wake up and look forward to my clients, and they would look forward to me. And so I just thought, all right, I'm doing this all. So, I want to, we're created by my slogan is we're created by energy and we're powered by energy.
100%.
Yeah. And then so from the fitness world, I moved, I left everything there and having a great community of people and support, and Christmas, and, holidays come along and, they bring you cookies and they show you love. Or, when we're going through something, a fundraiser, we all come together as a community. Like we did a class today for toys, for children in need. And so the donations that we got from there, I'm going to go buy some toys and drop them off to some shelters. Toys for Tots, something like that. So when I left that community back here, I came here. My daughter begged me to move here. My daughter got accepted, long story short.
Lucky us.
Yes. A year and a half ago, she got accepted to Nova Southeastern University.
Oh, that's awesome.
With a scholarship, financial scholarship in marine biology. And, being a single father and one income and things like that, it's hard to juggle everything, especially off one income to take care of two mouths. Excuse me. So then I looked at the financial scholarship aspect of it. I was like, oh, this is great, Let me see the pricing for room and board. Too much. So she whipped up this master plan and, hey, Dad, why don't we move to Florida and you come with me and you can do everything you do here or there. And I was overwhelmed.
Why not? It's just make a couple of adjustments and this will all work out.
Just, 200 clients that I lose back there and coming here to a new world. But I believe in the silver lining of everything. And I said, well, there's something here. And she's getting an education. She really wants her success. So I said, what the heck? I came down here. I started off great with Equinox, teaching in South Beach and Aventura and Boca Raton. I teach at all the resort clubs. Ball was rolling. I could feel the energy coming. And then, boom.
Bam.
COVID. And we went into shutdown and everything closed. And I was panicking.
Yeah, because we were in a world where it was either in front, in person, or it wasn't.
Right.
That this whole digital world of meeting through the TV,
right.
For so many people, they hadn't even experienced it. Maybe some offices had some meetings that way, but the majority of the world didn't even know what Zoom was. So how did you, was this a whole new learning process?
Well,
or how did that work?
It was panic mode was, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Gyms are closed. I got to find a job. But wait, schools are closed too. Where can I put my degree?
You weren't going to be allowed in.
I couldn't do. And when you have a young tech girl says, well, let's do Zoom. Let's do this virtual thing. And I said, well, what's all this about? Started doing some learning. My daughter taught me a whole bunch of stuff. And, a couple cameras and some lights later and some good stuff. I created online classes where I do online classes and I charge people, like a monthly membership, and they can get recordings if they don't make the class and stuff like that.
And I'll link you up to his website, to all of his social media, emails if you want to contact him if you've got questions. Maybe you even want him to do some a dance benefit. Maybe you have something you're trying to raise money for, and Eddie can help you. He's so open to anything.
Absolutely.
But I will definitely link you up because this man is amazing. And clearly, from his story, there's been a lot of times this man has been knocked down or sucker punched or whatever you want to call it, but nothing's keeping this guy down. So no matter where you are in your life, don't give up. There's always an option. There's always a plus side. Believe in yourself. Look
Absolutely.
where he was, and I'm getting goosebumps. Maybe your angels will come, and help you get to where you need to be. Whatever you did, don't give up on yourself and take his class. He will give you the energy to shed that excess that we all go through. Doesn't matter what you are, what your color is, what your race is, your religion, your financial level. It doesn't matter. We are all in this same world. We all come up with, we have challenges, and maybe we all don't talk about it. Maybe some people are embarrassed. You kind of think maybe you're the only person that just has some shit in their lives. But I assure you, no matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, there is shit in this world.
There is always.
But don't give up, because rise up. You know, it's just such positive energy. His story is so moving, and it's such a great example for anybody who's contemplating, feels like they're stuck, their job, they don't know how to change it up to make it work, or, oh, I have to move, everything's gonna stop. No, it doesn't. You can keep going, and Eddie's a perfect example. You can always keep going and smile after all of that. He's still smiling.
Yeah, you gotta accept what the world throws at you and just kind of find your way to maneuver through the storm, and always know that, you know, you're gonna get up. And I've gone through some, you know, my girlfriend of mine, she was just fighting breast cancer, and she's a trooper and beat it, and you know, that's an amazing thing.
And positive energy gets you through. A lot of it is, you know, I'm not saying I'm a doctor, but attitude, almost in anything in life. You get that positive attitude, you throw that positive energy out in the world, and at some point, maybe not when you want or as fast as you want, but that positive energy will come back. So good for her. I'm glad she's fighting it.
Yes. It's all about the energy, all about spreading good love and you know, helping each other out and supporting each other. Like
we're all
I'm
one.
Honored to meet such a rock star like this woman, and to be able to share my story with her and get it out there. And it's amazing. I think, you know, one hand always helps the other. We support each other, and I think that's the way the world is just going to be awesome if we can all just lift each other up instead of knocking each other down.
Well, thank you, Eddie. You have been a blast. I just had such a great time with you. I had a great time getting to know you, your daughter, your mom and dad are here. We've got Matthew, Mansplaining by Matthew, is our second unit today. He's doing all the camera work, so he helped me out today. So it's a team effort, it's a family effort. And I thank all of you for joining us today, and we are looking forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah.